like Clark, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a couple things that me and my friends have thought of that Fortnite needs to add or fix in their current game, because right now we all know it's not kind of great right now, especially towards the competitive scene. It's more geared a lot towards the kind of little Timmies who don't really play Fortnite that much, who just want to join in, get a win, and then get off, which isn't too fun for keeping the game alive, because if you don't really have a competitive scene and you don't have all the pros playing, the game's probably not going to do as well as it should. So yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be giving some ideas to Epic that basically I think they need to fix or add into the game. And if you have any ideas, or you think that they need to add something specific or fix something specific, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you spam likes on this video. Make sure you comment whatever, because if someone from Epic sees this, you never know, then maybe they might actually be like, oh, maybe that's a good idea, right? So yeah, let's get right into today's video. So for the first thing I think that is personally wrong about Season X or Season 10 is all of these new rift zones, like the POIs. Honestly, I just do not like them at all. For example, like the Greasy Grove, I love how they brought Greasy Grove back, but the little taco thing where you make a dance is just so dumb, and like the prop hunt in Paradise is so bad, and then no building in Tilted. Like, just nothing's really that good with these POIs. Like, yeah, the zombies are nice for loot, but if you get an end game with any of these POIs or the rift zones or whatever you want to call them, it's absolutely horrible. Like, it's just not fun. If you're in the zombies, your frame drops to 30. Even if you're running at like 180 FPS, 190, your frames drop to 30. The zombies will kill you. If you land in the prop hunt zone, almost everyone I know just spams crouch when they're breaking stuff, when they're healing, whatever the case is. So you can't even heal, you can't even break stuff without spamming into a toilet. If you're getting greasy, I've seen dozens of clips of people like getting stuck in their own builds because they can't move because they're doing that dancing emote. So personally, what I think they need to do is, number one, is remove it all and keep it in like solos, and keep it in duos, and keep it in squads for the more casual players, but take it out of arena, take it out of tournaments, because it's literally just ruining people's end games. I'd say retail is the only one that is actually good, and that's because you can get so much loot out of it. All the other ones are just useless and dumb, in my opinion. Or, at the very least, they need to make it so when it comes to the third or fourth zone, they disable it. So then you don't get the FPS drop. You don't get skewered by not being able to move or rotate because you're stuck inside your box dancing. Or you can't pop your minis because you're so focused on trying not to crouch so you don't become like a toilet or a friggin' pillow or something like that, right? So there's a couple kind of things they can do about that. Like, I guess it's a cool idea what they're doing, and it's different and makes the map different, but I just don't think it should be competitive, and if it is, then they definitely need to disable it, because it is not that competitive, especially for endgame. Now the next thing that I think they need to add is more mobility, or fix the mobility in the far spots of the maps. So, for example, I was landing Snobby all of yesterday for the Cash Cup and all for the Trios Cash Cup, and probably 8 out of 10 games, the zone would be near retail, or near Paradise or whatever, like opposite place as Snobby. I think I got one zone where it was actually covering Snobby, and then one zone that it was like just like close to me, like it was like Haunted Hills or something. But every single zone was almost the opposite side of the map, and every single time I'd have to rotate, and I'd be able to hit a hop rock, but then I'd just get zone held because the hop rock would finish. I'd be at 60 to 50 health because the zone would be doing so much damage to me. When I'd get out of the storm, there'd be 3 people waiting, hold me, and then I'd die, right? And some people might be like, okay, we'll just rotate early. But you can't really rotate early, because if you don't, like, I normally have to fight someone, or I normally have to loot just to get myself nice mats, nice whatever, equipment, nice weapons. There's not really much I can do in that scenario besides land somewhere else, because I almost always find that I'm getting storm held, whether I land in the snow biome, like by Happy Hills or Happy Hamlet. Like, if there's no no hoverboards, which there aren't even 100% spawn rate, you're absolutely screwed because the same thing's going to happen. You're going to get zone held by people who just land fatal or whatever and just wait for you to come out of zone. It's very, very annoying, and I'm not saying they need to add like Rift to goes back in the game or shadows or whatever the case is, but they need to add something. Like they need to add just something, like even the little rifts where they spawn like across the map, or even the quad crashers, like just something like that that can give some mobility, because there's places, the perfect example is Snobby, where you just get sewered by zone almost every single game, and you just get zone held because you really can't rotate out of it. If you rotate early, you're just not going to have any good mats, and you're not going to have good weapons. Now this next tip, and this one I've been asking for forever, and so many people have been asking for it, and it is a separate loot pool for competitive. From my standpoint, and from a lot of pro standpoints, I just don't understand why they haven't made a separate loot pool yet. They basically said that they didn't want to change the game too much between competitive and casual, but that's just bull, because like you need to have a separate loot pool, especially when there's so much RNG in this game. There's so many pistols, so many snipers, so many like brute stuff like that, which isn't technically a loot, but like I'm gonna throw it in here, that should not be in competitive. Like if I'm landing in a building in competitive, I should be getting at least an SMG, maybe an AR, maybe a shotgun, something like that. I should not be landing, going through 4 buildings, getting 3 pistols, an infantry rifle, and 2 snipers, right? That should not be in the game. And plus, the heavy sniper is just so broken in competitive. Like the fact that you can hit someone for 151 damage or whatever the case is, just for hitting a body shot, is absolutely insane. And I personally don't think it should be in the game. And even snipers are just pretty overpowered in competitive, because if you peek and you're just peek, take 1 shot and just get heavy sniped to the dome, yeah, it sucks. And people might be like, okay, well, just don't peek. Well, that's not really fun. Like, you should be able to peek, and you should be able to shoot at people flying in the air. You should be able to shoot at people who are fighting someone else, right? Like, personally, I don't think snipers are very good for competitive play. Again, I think they should be in pubs, but just not competitive play. And again, for the separate loot pool for competitive, I don't think the brute should be in competitive at all. Again, it's not really separate. Or like the junk rift, again, should not be in arena, should not be in all these games. I think they need to add it into solos, squads, and duos, and limited time modes, and keep them out of competitive play. Now my next one is, all of you guys are going to know, so many pros asked for this, is the FOV slider, or the return of stretch res. Now personally, I absolutely love stretch res. It was probably my favorite thing about Fortnite. I loved switching my res and just getting like 1440. I even went to like a 1256 sometimes, and I loved the stretch res. I just felt like I played way better with it. My lower end laptop worked way better with the higher FPS boost. Obviously now I have a PC, but I'd still take the FPS boost. Or even if they don't add stretch res, which I personally don't think they're going to add back, they should at least add an FOV slider, which basically will allow you to customize your game and allow you to get a better angle of being able to see everything, and you get a wider screen. So basically what it does is it just shows more on the screen and lowers the hitbox. Well, not lowers the hitbox, but lowers the, how would I explain this? It just makes your character model look smaller, like for you. Obviously, it's not smaller for other people, but it basically shows more of the screen, so you just have a wider field of view. But personally, yeah, I think they need to add that, because so many people want it. It just would make the game look better, and also just make the game feel smoother, in my opinion. Now, the next one is disabling pre-edits. Now, again, a lot of people have been asking for this. It's not game-changing, but it's just something simple that they still haven't done after 10 seasons, which, honestly, I'm not saying they need to take out pre-editing, but you should have a toggle where you can take out pre-edits, or you can turn off pre-edits, or you can turn on pre-edits, because I don't know how many times I'll be building or something will be happening and I'll accidentally edit my floor or my wall, and I'll just get absolutely sewered because I die because I'm not ready for it, or I'll have a hole in my wall and I won't notice it, and then someone will just shoot me through it. Definitely not a nice thing to have, and I almost never use pre-edits. So personally, I think they need to add a toggle that'll allow you to turn it off or turn it back on. And then the very last thing that I think Epic needs to fix or add, and it's not really either of those, it's fixing the game and staying with what the people want instead of just doing whatever they want and doing updates to make the game look better. For example, I understand why they're doing these POIs and the rifts, because they want to make the game look more enticing. They want to make it so the young little kids have more fun. But personally, I think they just need to fix the game, fix the loot pool, fix all the stuff I already mentioned, worried about keeping the game alive instead of just worrying about stuff that don't really help and no one really cares about, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slap a like button, comment what you want to see for a future video, and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.